you doing, folks? Welcome to this edition of the Don Kroah Show. Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 each afternoon. We get to talk about stuff going on together, do stuff together as well, and really from time to time have special features. For example, what's coming up this hour. And we'll tell you more about it as we unfold this hour and the hour to come. Great to have you with us. Well, I often say it's no fun when you're not here. So Julie and I would have no reason to be here if you weren't. So welcome aboard. Glad you're here. Celebrating the arts, that's something we used to do on a regular basis years ago here on the show. We had a feature called Celebrating the Arts, usually airing during one of the hours of our Monday edition of the show. And the purpose all along was to introduce you as our listeners to some of the great talent here in the greater D.C. area. Wonderfully gifted musicians and recording artists and others working in the field of performing arts. And among those guests we had on the show, someone whose name I'm sure many of you already know and recognize immediately, Terrence Richburg. As a matter of fact, he and I were just comparing notes a bit ago, and it was back, I think, when their first album came out, Ascension, featuring he and Howard Riley Jr. on saxophone, that we first had him on the show as a guest at Celebrating the Arts. And here we are all these years later. Terrence, my friend, it's good to see you, and you still look like such a young man.
Well, thank you. You too.
Oh, thanks. Well, we'll take it at this stage and age, won't we?
We'll both take it.
Well, folks, he's rightly described as really a prolific composer, lyricist, writer, poet, vocalist. I mean, the talents are extensive and varied. Keyboard artists, percussionists, so much more. Producer of great albums, director, pianist. I mean, it goes on and on. And we're going to spend this quick hour together just with some snippets, if you will, such as just a little bit of what you heard from one of his albums right there. But I want you to hear from this man of God and hear how God has led his path in the wonderful and powerful word of music all these years. So again, welcome. Thank you for taking time out of what I know is a busy life and schedule to come in and do this with me.
Yeah, I'm really glad for the opportunity. As you said, it's been a while since we've seen each other, so it's good to take some time to catch up.
Well, you haven't been sitting on your laurels, as they say. You've the immense body of work you've been doing is more than we really have time to fully talk about. But let's start with some of the highlights of the albums you've been creating through the years. And as I understand, you've just released 3 new albums, along with a book on top of that.
Yeah, one of the things I'm sure you know, as you get older, you start to think of legacy. And so my goal was, because I do write a lot of music, God has really inspired me to write a lot of music. So as people have been passing off the scene, you notice that people keep releasing albums after they're gone, which is amazing. But I kind of want to be here to see them come out if I can. So I'm really trying to get as much music out because, God has given me a lot. And as the Bible said, to him much is given, much is required. And I just want to be able to share what God has given to me.
Let's go back through the years, even into your childhood. I know you come from an extremely musical family. How did this all start for your family and for you?
Well, as you know, I come from a musical family. My parents, John and Wilhelmina Richburg, along with my uncle Julius, had a group called the Richburg Singers, and they recorded on the Atlantic label. And they were kind of ahead of their time. They were one of the first groups to record with, orchestral instruments and go into the studio. And so I kind of grew up into that tradition of music. And one of the things that my father always did is he liked to listen to all types of music. So it wasn't just gospel. He listened to jazz. He would listen to R&B, a lot of different artists. So I was exposed to a lot of different styles and genres at an early age. Also, my aunt Ronnie Wells, jazz singer, well-known jazz singer in this area as well. So I just kind of was, my whole environment was filled with music. So,
well, you know the old joke, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice.
Yes.
Was that tough for you as a kid? Because for me, it was the difference between doing a little bit of something with whatever music I had and not doing it. But some folks just, I had in fact, a music teacher who once told me he would play until his fingers hurt. Other guys were out doing whatever, playing baseball or whatever. He was at the keyboard. How was it for you in terms of having to be, if you will, made to practice?
Well, fortunately for me, I didn't have to be made to practice. Once the instruments were put in front of me, I just took a liking to it. And the thing about it, I had to be made to stop practicing.
Yeah.
I would practice for 4 or 5 hours a day, whether I was playing drums or guitar or piano. It was just in me, and so I took joy into it. So like you, I was in the house in the basement playing, and of course my friends would come and listen outside the window of the basement, and they say, "Is that you, Terrence?" Yeah, I say, yeah, you sound good. Can you come out and play? No.
See, I could not have stood that kind of temptation.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be a quick hour. We're already at our first break. We'll take that quickly and come back with some more time to really enjoy what this man has to offer. And we have some websites and Facebook and all of that we can also share with you as you really follow up on this great artist in the truest sense of the word and the music that he's continuing to create. Stay with us.